The valedictorian is a graduating student who possesses the highest standing or the aggregate of all courses from grade 9 through to grade 12. Manitouwadge High School's valedictorian of 2013 is Damola Badunde.
I came prepared.
Hello everybody. Yeah, I don't have the introduction to my speech, so I'm just going to kind of summarize it. My name is Damola Badunde. I'm honored to be the valedictorian for the graduating class of 2013 in Manitouwadge High School. And I'd just like to thank all the teachers, principals, librarians, secretaries, guidance counselors, all the staff at the school, because without them leading, educating, and inspiring us, we'd all be pursuing kinesiology degrees. I'd also like to thank all the coaches who coach us, and I'd like to thank the community of Manitouwadge, because
this town is the soil and the foundation that really allows us students here at MHS to grow. And let's not forget the big man upstairs. I'd like to thank God for everything, but especially the miracle that all of us actually matured, especially with Mr. K still around us. And finally, I'd like to say thank you to all of our families, but most importantly, our parents and guardians. These are the people who have fed us, raised us, taught us many life lessons, and will always stick by our sides no matter what. Through the good times, the bad, and the times where it seems that we've hit rock bottom, you've been there with us each step of the way. You're ready to pick us up when we fall, and you're right there to bring us back to earth when we fly a little too high. A wise young woman by the name of Adenola once told me this: you can never be smarter than your parents. It took me a few years to understand that, because I thought that one day I could memorize a dictionary and cite it off to her. But it means more than that. It means that the wisdom and life experience of your parents is something that you can strive for, but something that you'll never reach. No matter what you think you know, they've been on this earth longer than you have, and their advice is something that you should cherish in your heart always. Amen. And as for me, even though it seems my parents are never impressed, I know that they're truly grateful and proud to have me as their son. And I'm sure that the parents of everyone sitting here are proud of them as well. As much as this is a celebration of our achievements over the past 4 years, it's a celebration of the time and effort you guys have put in for the past 18 years. Now it's time for me to address and hopefully inspire this graduating class. So let's take a journey back in time. Coming to high school, I'm sure that none of you expected to be here one day. In grade 9, you probably forgot your locker combination several times, shied away from the picnic tables, and walked through the halls thinking everyone was going to beat you up. And just when you think it couldn't get any worse, you had class with Mr. O. Coming from different schools, this is also the first year that you would establish lifelong friendships and relationships with the people around you. I'm sure you all remember your first exams too, staring down the endless rows of seats and choosing one in the wrong row because you were so nervous. And then you heard Mr. Pittman's voice for the first time and thought that we were having an earthquake. Do you remember those days? I certainly do. Because I also remember that we all struggled, we all persevered, and we all passed. Then we got to grade 10. Over the summer, we all matured and brought our new confidence back to school. With the help of Mr. Beige, we began to plan for our futures. We continued and even increased our extracurricular involvement from the previous years. We grew in our friendships and our relationships, and we even began to listen to Mr. Pittman once in a while. Even though Mr. Johnson and Mrs. Jones had left us, we never forgot their incredible influence on our lives. We were able to enjoy the presence of Mr. Much once again. Even though the year presented new challenges, we all rose up to the occasion and we passed. Then we got to grade 11, which I like to consider the best year of my time here at Manitouwadge. And that year, our senior boys volleyball team advanced to OSSA for the very first time in school history, and our girls team hosted a very exciting NWASA. Our Reach for the Top team also made it to the Ontario Provincial Finals for the first time in school history. For badminton, we sent 9 players to OSSA. That's 9 players from a school population of less than 100. But our success wasn't just limited to sports. Those of us who took chemistry with Mr. Martin somehow managed to pass without the help of cheat sheets and bonus marks. Those who took co-op for the first time realized how fulfilling and educating it was. But regardless of the courses we took or the streams we were in, we all fought through them and we passed. At the start of this year, no one could have predicted what would have happened. We had a rough winter with little to no extracurricular activities, and we had an even tougher time after that, dealing with the loss of Mr. Much, who was so integral to the school for many years. We went through principles like Mr. Lalonde goes 3 coffee cups in a day, before we were finally stuck with Mrs. Ransom. And despite all she had to deal with in a short matter of time, she truly helped tide the school year over when it seemed like our troubles would have no end. And also, without Mrs. G spearheading student council and grad committee, we were able to come together and run both associations effectively even during the political action by the teachers. This year, we've proven that amidst our class fights and quarrels, we can still demonstrate leadership, communication, and teamwork that our own government sometimes lacks. And we did all of this deciding whether we were going to go to university, college, straight into the workplace, or if we were bringing our talents back to MHS for another year. Some of us were already working and set for the next 20 years, but regardless of what we all did, we swallowed our pride, we worked hard, and we all passed, even Hudson. Now, here we are, and I want you all to know that we accomplished these things while our bodies were constantly flowing with hormones that would always seek to embarrass us at any given opportunity. I still remember those moments when my voice would crack in class. But in the past 4 years, while we were growing from stupid kids into stupid teenagers, we made some very smart decisions that have led us to where we are today. This was the first step in our lives to becoming independent adults, and here we are ready to take the next. We should all be excited knowing that we've already completed the biggest and most complicated challenge to this day, high school. Among us are future athletes, artists, engineers, doctors, designers, prime ministers, actors, musicians, and therapists. And we can all say we survived a class with Mrs. Ferguson. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say that life becomes all rosy and perfect after tonight, because it doesn't. It gets physical, it gets painful, and the Leafs will disappoint in the playoffs once again. You will get bored, you will fail at something, and your problems will pile up faster than you can handle. As we begin to take different paths, I encourage you to rest in the knowledge that your life is now in your own hands, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Do not hold yourselves up to the unrealistic expectations of the media, but rather set personal goals for yourselves and also always stand by what you believe in. I want you to forget about the economy for a moment. Whatever career path you choose something that will make you happy regardless of the paycheck. Remember the saying, if you love your job, you never have to work a day in your life? That applies. But even before you get to that stage, do the exciting things you can while you're still young. Go skydiving, travel the world, climb a mountain. Because once you get to Mr. Timms' age, you won't be as energetic as you are right now. And also, don't procrastinate. If you see a window of opportunity, go ahead and jump out of it. Ask that girl out. Buy those expensive shoes. Join that yoga club. Because life is too short to let those experiences go to waste. And finally, I just want to thank you all for being my peers. You've been my best friends and my worst enemies, my teammates and my rivals. You've been my teachers, my students, my coworkers, bosses, my bullies, and my victims. You've been the biggest reason I wanted to leave, yet now you're the ones that make it difficult to say goodbye. Together, we literally started from the bottom, and now we're here. I sincerely wish you all the best as we finally reach that fork in the road. I'm not the kind of person that's big on cheesy quotes and sentimentalism, but a wise man once said this. What lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us. It's been a real pleasure being with you all as you matured into the leaders and role models of this town. Congratulations, graduates of 2013. It's time to start living La Vida Loca. Thank you, everyone.